we're live.
All right.
How we doing, fellas? Good to see you guys.
Starting gate, yeah.
I know, man.
How's it going, man?
Man, it's going, brother. How you
right,
how you
good,
guys
Jeff.
doing?
Good. It's great to have you back, Jeff.
Yeah,
Man,
it is
it's
good to have
great
you
to be
back.
back.
You excited
know,
to be back in that seat?
Oh, I am very excited.
Good.
You know,
good.
the crazy thing is, I always see Frank at the perfect time. Like I saw
yeah.
him yesterday at the gym
yeah.
once again.
I love it.
And when you see Frank, it's like when you really need it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know
I
when
know
you
exactly what you mean.
you,
man.
you know when you just meet somebody.
When Karen sees me, she runs.
So glad you have that effect on some people.
You know when you see somebody, you just feel like, you know what, I needed this.
Yeah,
and you never know when you need it until you experience that moment, right?
I'm glad you bring that up, Frank. I need to tell you that too. Like that's what it was like when I first met you, and when I started like coming in and learning about myself. There was like this thing, like you light somebody up, and it's awesome. And the best way for me to describe that is, I heard this saying one time that was like, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Wow.
And that's what I felt like it was with Frank.
Wow.
I felt like my eyes wide open, type of thing. And then on top of that, one of the deepest things that you ever told me, Frank, personally, was you said to me, like, Mike, I am only a reflection of you.
Yeah, and I feel the same way with you guys. Yeah,
I am only a reflection of what you already know about yourself.
The mirror.
Yeah, and I love that. And I was like, God, that's so powerful.
Yeah, because every concept we have of another human being, we're the ones portraying the concept.
Correct.
Yeah, and society will give us social cues like, okay, this person does this is good or not, like that type of thing. So then we're giving it the concept. But is it the concept that we want? Do we prefer?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. So when your inner being is solid, doesn't matter who comes across you, you see a loving being. You might not be able to stand them, but
when they see you all the time, it's different.
Before we dive into this episode, I just want to quickly let our audience know we our co-host here, Frank Daly, got married last weekend.
Yeah.
Congratulations
Yeah,
to
baby.
Frank. I just want to
Let's
say that real
go.
quick. Frank and Karen,
Man,
congratulations.
There you go,
I'm
man.
sure that feels good.
It does
know,
feel good. Yeah.
You want to share anything about the ceremony or what you guys did?
We went out to Carlsbad, California. It's one of my favorite places. Been going there for years, and we just got married on the beach, just the two of us at sunset. Yeah, we had somebody administered it and a photographer.
That's cool.
Make sure
Capture the moment
to prove to people I actually got married.
to have that. No, it's good to have the photos.
I need proof. Yeah,
got to remember the moment. but that's awesome.
If you don't have photos, it didn't happen.
Exactly.
It was funny because Karen's like, so after we got married, and the assumption, like we've been together for 10 years.
Yeah.
And she's like, so after we got married, she's like, so why do you think it took you 10 years?
That's a weird question to ask you after you just got married.
I look at it, I'm like, we live in a quantum universe.
So
it only exists now. Technically, we've been married for millennia. For infinite possibilities.
For infinite possibilities, baby.
I suggest you guys, if you ever use that, don't use that bit.
Don't use that line. It didn't work too well for you.
It didn't work too well.
It didn't go over too well. But seriously, congratulations to you and Karen.
Thanks.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, I just wanted to make sure we mentioned that.
That's right. We have to mention that, man, because that's love.
Yeah, it is.
And love is a beautiful thing, man.
That's what we're here to talk about.
And guess what? Like, we all chase love, Yeah. Love for love, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we do things.
Well, love is the ether. It's holding this whole world together. It's a different. Love is a thing on one spectrum. And we think there's love and there's hate, but it's not. It's all love, and there's just different degrees of that love that we're experiencing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So it's like temperature, right? Like 72 degrees is considered the perfect temperature for human existence, right?
That is a comfortable temperature.
Yeah,
that is.
But when you get down into like say 20 degrees, it's slightly uncomfortable. But it doesn't mean temperature went away.
Correct.
Or heat went away.
Great,
heat didn't go
great
away. It's
analogy.
just very little heat. So love is the all-encompassing field of energy.
Yeah.
How far distant, where we are within the field of love, you can get away from it to where it feels painful, like 20 degrees does.
Yep.
And that, you see, that's hate. I'm like, it's not the opposite.
Yeah.
20 degrees is not the opposite of 72 degrees.
Yeah.
It's a different degree of temperature.
Whoa.
So it's a different degrees of love. And some people's degree of love is, it's not adequate enough for them to sustain life, and we have to learn, teach. I had to learn to get to a higher state of love, get closer to that.
Wow. And you don't you always grow?
You do. So that's why, like, at some point you get to the point where your body could withstand 100 degrees.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the baseline. 72 is a baseline, but someone like a Wim Hof, right? That dude, he can go he can go to Death Valley in the middle of the summer, run a marathon, or he can hike the top of Mount Everest with no shirt on, because he has the ability to adjust whatever frequency he needs to do to get through it. And that man, it's crazy, but he's teaching us, and we're learning how to do that. So same thing with love. What base love? Where do you want the love at? You actually create it.
Well, I think we're mistaught love growing up.
Well, it's out there.
We're taught that love is a relationship like marriage, or a romantic relationship, or only a relationship between your parents. But you know what I mean? It's only a relationship between family members, or this, or it's love. Like we're not really taught that love is everything. Yeah. We're taught that love is a certain emotion deserving of a certain specific set of scenarios and examples and experiences.
Yeah. Man, as a young man, I think love has different.
I wish I could say that.
Hey.
There's different levels, you of love you get to experience in lifetime, and I think love is what brings wisdom. Love is what brings, any material stuff, really.
Oh yeah.
And
it generates it.
That's right. And the crazy thing, Frank, you've been married you've been together for 10 years.
Yeah.
And you just got married.
Yeah.
I love that.
I am slow.
No.
That's not slow.
That's okay though. And to hear that, I'm like, it changes everything, because you people have this timeline in their minds. Or when I get to 30, then I'll have kids, then I'll get married.
Yeah, I did the same shit.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you're saying. If
then
I'll be happy.
Then I'll be happy. Then I'll find love. Mm-hmm. If I accomplish this, then I'll find love.
As soon as I get that job, and then I'll find that perfect partner. I just need to be really comfortable with my job.
Really comfortable with my job. As soon as I I save this much money.
Yeah. I did that shit all the time.
Then I'll think about proposing.
Yep.
Then I'll think about actually jumping and taking a step with somebody.
Yeah.
And
then you call the lawyer up and how do I get out of this?
But seriously,
there's love and there's fear,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I've heard somebody say that.
Well, yeah, fear is
that there's only fear in love. I've heard somebody. I forgot.
Well, fear is a different degree of love.
Okay.
Fear is wanting to understand what love is. So again, like fear is the 20 degrees.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're stepping away from the field of love. So you can almost look at there's no opposite of love. It's just what degree of love can the body need to maintain to sustain.
Ooh.
And that's how you start looking at it. It's a frequency, and the body needs a certain amount.
Yeah.
Of love. So that's how I love it. Because love is a very, very convoluted word in the way we define it. Like someone says, I love you.
Yeah.
I actually heard somebody talk about this. I thought it was funny. He's like, I'd rather someone come up to me and say they hate me than love me. At least I know where they stand.
I mean, isn't that true, though?
Yeah, because when you say the words, I love you, now, again, how I portray it, like I could say, hey, hon, I love you. It's kind of like a blasé way of saying I love you. I'm here. Mm-hmm. Or like you could look at somebody like that and like, I love you. There's a different frequency to it, right?
Absolutely.
But we like to declare it, but we use it in a way like, hey, I love you. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. It's like, that's not really portraying love. That's actually futuristic. I want you to know I love you so you can contain what you're doing to stay with me. And that's the outside world. Like you guys started in talking about that. The outside world is the cart. The inner world is the horse. Which do you think you should put forward, the cart or the horse? If you put the horse behind the cart, the horse can push the cart, but what a weird ride. What a very cumbersome ride. But if you put the horse in front of the cart follows the horse. And it leads.
Nice and comfortably.
So that's why we get mixed up with the outside world. I love this. I need this to have love. I need that person. I love being at the beach. I love the woods. I'm like, no, you love. You just happen to be at the beach. You love. You happen to be in the woods. You love. You happen to be in a relationship.
Wow.
I think it's important we mention, I think what we're getting at too is love is unconditional, and we have been taught to put condition upon it.
Yes. And have limits.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
And we make condition and we make our, you know, we make it based on what we experienced in the past. If you know, we're not willing to step forward outside that fear.
Yeah.
That, you know, so we can feel love. You know, the other side,
we guard ourselves.
That's right. Well, the other side of this fear, there is that love you've been talking about and seeking.
Just on the other side. If you just keep going just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, because think about that. Like you just nailed it. Love is a feeling, not like something that happens. In other words, I could look at a thermometer and it says 72 degrees. That's a physical number, 72. But what does 72 feel like? Not what does it look like? Right? So everyone is showing this is what love looks like. This is how love should be. I'm like, no. How does it feel? And everyone knows how it feels because I believe every moment of every day, there might be just one instant where even the most miserable person feels love. And what's love? When the energy makes it through to the first three centers and makes it up to the heart, you feel love. Now, what we do is, oh my God, like, okay, I was going for a walk in the woods. That's what happens. So now you try to wake up every day, go walk in the woods, and you're trying to chase that love. Yeah. But it wasn't the woods. You just it could have been sitting in your car and it did it. And if a song was on, I'm like, it was a song. I'm like, no, it wasn't the song. The song may have distracted you from the thoughts that were going on in your head. And next thing you know, the feeling came up.
It's a feeling.
Well, it's a feeling.
You also can't purchase and buy love. As much people think that they can.
The Beatles let us know that.
You know, people. You can purchase. You're purchasing a girlfriend. You know, a boyfriend. You're purchasing sex. You're purchasing. Oh no! I'm just saying. Like that when somebody says like, oh yeah, well, what about somebody who's just with him for money? Well, no, then they're buying an experience of having a girlfriend, having a boyfriend, or having sex, or whatever that may be. They're not purchasing. You can't purchase love.
No, and
love is a feeling, and I feel like that's why a lot of people are lost in life. Is that they have all the money in the world, but they don't feel love, and it's because they've never allowed themselves to feel love.
And one of the things I thought about this, I contemplate this a lot. Why that works momentarily, it distracts you from the thoughts in your head. When the thoughts in your head, you can actually have the energy come up, but then you're giving it to the outside world, so you're always chasing the dragon, as they say.
Yeah.
But it didn't come from that. So if I could just sit back and look at my thoughts and just not even try to reach for a good thought, just detach from all thought, the energy hits. Wow. All of a sudden, it's like, wow, okay. Now, the greater I get at this, the less thoughts run through my head to even aggravate me. Even good thoughts. A good thought will eventually give me anxiety.
Yeah.
I want to do this thing.
Too much of anything.
Yeah.
Too much of
anything. And all of a sudden, now you're overthinking it.
Neutrality.
And all of a sudden, when I'm overthinking it, the energy gets stuck. Yeah. And it feels like a knot or like agita or like heartburn. People are like, oh, like that. It's because the energy can't flow into the heart and up into the spinal column, up into the pineal gland and hit. If the energy can't move, it's going to have pressure where it stops. It's usually right at the heart.
So another thing that kind of ties into this is I used to think, like when I started learning these concepts, that it was like crucial that you always needed to stay in like a positive state. You'll hear different people talk about this all the time. Like, hey, you just got to keep thinking positive. You got to keep thinking positive. But where we kind of go wrong with that kind of new age type of teaching is the real state you want to live in is a state of neutrality, you know, and too much of great, the harder you fall. And then too much of, you know, being low, you know, you can never get up and find that great, that love, you know, that excitement.
So just find balance.
You know?
There you go. You know, that's what balance looks like.
The other day, I was watching the movie The Walk.
I've never seen that.
The Walk. What was that about?
It's about this guy.
It sounds familiar.
It's about this guy who had a mission to to walk across
that was
2 buildings in New York.
Oh,
I did see this with the tightrope when he lays it down. Yes. It's the guy from Third Rock from the Sun. Is the main character.
Did he not know there was an elevator?
Right. Straight tightrope across the building. Right. Tightrope.
Yes, tightrope.
Yep.
And no, just go check it out. Search it up right now.
Yeah.
The walk.
The amount of focus.
The amount of focus you get from that.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
And this guy, people think he's crazy. People think, oh, it's too big, but he looks at them, and he the amount of focus that it's like it's what he thinks about. He always just want to accomplish. If I'm climbing this height, okay, my goal is to get to the next height, to a bigger height, different frequency, and so, I don't want to explore, but the movie ended where, it's like it was his goal.
Yeah.
He was faced with this goal. And in the middle, and when he was walking so focused on that rope. And he finally, after a few walks, he just, tapped in
to that field.
It's like he opened a whole gate in the arena. Oh, now I can play all day, baby.
And we all have that ability. We all do. Yeah. Every single one of us.
It's probably it's as if he was walking on a sidewalk.
Yeah. Yes. And guess what? He started doing flips, dude.
Yeah.
Now, when he laid down, he would lay down and he felt peace. And he was talking about this experience.
One with the field.
And, but then he faced distractions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The wind.
The wind, the birds.
Yep.
Oh, the popo.
Yeah. Yep.
The cops.
They're trying to get him off.
They're trying to get him off.
Saying, what the hell are you doing? They did. The cops were trying to stop him because how do you get a permit to walk across buildings in New York?
Right.
He illegally ran up and threw these poles down to walk across or tight ropes.
But then the confidence this guy had.
Yep.
When he was in his field, he felt a sense of purpose. Yeah. And that was just...
That movie's great.
People
should watch.
Just go watch it.
For sure.
I haven't seen that one. So you just mentioned the key word is focus. All right, and we just talked about this today. I just found this out, but the word focus comes from the word foyer, which means it's the place in the house where you warm up a fireplace, the entrance to it, and that's the heart. So it's metaphorically the heart. So when you focus, what is considered the opposite of focus? It's sin. It's called missing the mark. So we came here, if we focus, you're no longer sinning. So sinning is an archery term that means missing the mark. But if you're focused, you can't miss the mark. You actually are the mark. You become the mark itself. So as we learn to focus, and it's funny. I was talking to someone. I was like, I can't focus. I'm like, it's impossible not to focus. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, do you remember last time you worried about something? Like, yeah. I'm like, you were focused on what you're worrying about. Mm-hmm. Focus is not something that humans need to work on. It's what are you focusing on you need to work on, and that becomes a repetition or a skill. It really does. So this guy obviously had to create a skill before he can walk across a tightrope between two tall standing buildings in New York City in order to do that. So I imagine the first time he did something like that, he's probably walking across a fence line. I remember doing that as a kid.
And you see that in the beginning of the movie. He's like practicing.
Yeah, and if he falls, he hits grass. He's not going to die. But you get to the point where you're so focused that nothing else exists.
Wow.
That's what we're that's
so you become the focus.
Yeah, you are the focus. You are, and you're in your heart.
Yeah, and and to add on to that, you are love.
Yes.
Yeah, you are.
Absolutely.
You are love, and you don't become it. You already are.
Yeah.
You just have to be it.
Yeah, that's why people are always looking for love.
So well said, Jeff.
You know what I mean, though?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You ever think about this? So, what's other adjectives for love? Wealth, health,
success.
Yeah, those are just adjectives. That's
abundance.
All they are. Abundance. Yeah. So if you say that, say I'm looking for abundance, I'm looking for health. I'm like, you are that in which you're looking for. It's like a cat looking for its tail. I'm like, just keep walking, the tail will follow. You don't need.
And you just keep going in circles looking for it.
And you wonder why you're dizzy, right? It's almost like I'll never forget this one time. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he called at this very. I was so much on my schedule that day, and I was just chicken with cut off with no head and just
running around.
And all of a sudden, I'm trying to get out the door, and he calls me. And all of a sudden, he calls me, so I get on the phone, and I had to do a couple of things. I'm like, dude, I got to go. He's like, what's I can't find my phone. He goes, you're on the phone. I had the phone pressed to me, and I'm like, where is my phone?
Oh, my God, that's so funny.
Yeah, and you realize, holy shit. Like, I was my phone.
Well, let's also point out the state of mind that Frank was in right then.
Oh, yeah.
You would say, you're a high beta.
Married.
You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? You're in a high beta brain state, and so you're freaking out, right? Very stress level, high beta. Yeah. Okay, and you forget that you're even using your phone, right?
Yeah, completely.
Think about comparing that to everyday life and all the opportunities we're missing, all the, just the way we're shutting down, we're not open to information. When we're in that brainwave state, which is a high beta, like I got to go, I got a million things to do, we're missing what's going on out there. We're missing opportunities. We're missing signs. We're missing all sorts of stuff when we just need to...
Yeah. And it's not like what we're missing is a state that we want to be in where all these things come to us.
But it's just so funny. You can be on the phone and not even know it.
Like I was like,
that's where people live a majority of their life in that brain state.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
so think about what they're missing.
Yeah.
In that brain state. Yeah. You just said it right there.
Yeah.
That's it. You're so spun that like you could have that opportunity to whatever you were looking for could have been right there, right in front of you. Could have been the phone that you were holding. Another thing I figure I'd bring up since you brought this in, last night I was watching this show with Dr. Joe Dispenza, and we've covered him before, but he made a comment that was great, and he was like, we are not punished for our sins. We are punished by our sins. Wow. And I thought that was so powerful because when he said that, we think that karma in this like world is something that's like, you do something bad, you're gonna get screwed, the world's gonna F you. Like no. When we're sinning, missing the mark, we experience what we're feeling. And so like if we're sinning and we're not experiencing wholeness, that's just simply the reflection in the mirror that it's showing us. To get out mad about the outside, is futile and ridiculous because, oh wow, this should be a reminder. I need to go within. And so we're never punished for our activities. We're punished by them. And what I mean by punished is you're not in the state you want to be in. That's quote unquote.
But the
punishment.
thing is, when you actually fully understand the physics and the laws behind it, you actually want to be punished because it lets you know that you're moving in the wrong direction.
That's what he's
like.
Saying.
I don't want to be cutting my arm off and the universe just be okay with that. I'm like, So when you actually, and that's the brilliant thing is, there is a formula. The universe has set a formula, call it God or whatever. Put a formula out there, and if we follow it, there isn't a way to, like a philosophical way to produce or go with the formula, but the physics remains the same no matter what religion, what vehicle you use. Like, again, I've used this analogy before, but if I want to go to San Diego, roughly it's about 310 miles, say, from here.
Okay.
Whether I use a bicycle, a skateboard, a car, an airplane, it's still 308 miles. It doesn't change.
Yep.
What changes the variable in how I get there, the speed in which I get there, right? So that's the only thing that changes, but the distance itself, the physics doesn't change. So then the car, the bicycle, the skateboard, the airplane will be different philosophies in which I travel through time, but they aren't creating the distance between here and San Diego. That's already played out. So when we understand these underlying principles, you can't go against them, but we have free will to go against them, right? And we wonder, like, why is it taking me, if you haven't gone 300, if you haven't moved west from where we are, 310 miles, why would you expect to be in San Diego? That's like,
and that's where the majority of us spend our time. We're angry, we're upset, and we're sad, but we're saying, why aren't I happy in San Diego, which would be happiness?
Why aren't
well, I haven't moved through. I'm expecting to be happy. I'm expecting to be wealthy, but yet I won't allow myself to be there or to.
Wow. Yeah, I was once speaking on this, love, and because people always associate love to relationship, with another person. Obviously,
that's the most common.
If you have a child, there seems to be an understanding it's a given, right?
Yeah.
Parents, it's a given. Like you didn't. Your child came to you, you came to your parents, however you want to look at it. But your partner, if you will, you choose the partner, and so you're looking for love. And I heard this therapist talking to somebody, and they're like, I can't seem to find love. And they says, okay, be honest with me right now. Would you date you? And the person's like, what? He goes, would you date you in the state in which you're in right now? Mm. And they're like, I don't know. It's like, well, that's why you're not in a relationship, because you refuse to go below yourself.
Yeah.
You do have. We could have a standard. Mm-hmm. I could have a standard, but I might not meet the standard myself.
Yep.
Wow. And so people that are in relationships,
I know,
yeah.
right? Deep question.
I was thinking about this last night.
Yeah. Or you can lower your standard and then be miserable, and you can be in a relationship. But it's a lower standard. Like, I'll put up with
Wait,
anything.
Jeff, what were you thinking about
Karen,
last night?
I think Karen lowered her standard.
Karen lowered her standard for you, Frank. Frank, you're a catch, man. Come on. You're a total catch. Jeff, what were you thinking about last night?
Literally exactly what Frank just said, man.
As far as the love situation goes, would I date myself?
Yes.
Yep. Important question to ask ourselves.
Yeah, it is, man. And, you know, the crazy thing is, you know, like we say, we live our truth, you know?
Yeah.
But also, it's about what kind of truth are you living, really? You know what I mean? The truth is, are you what is this? You putting yourself in standards, you know, instead of just being at the frequency you are at and accepting that, dude, like, wake up, man. That's who you are. Mm-hmm. You know. So I was thinking about it. Yeah. I was thinking about it last night, and man, I met some beautiful women who are very high in their, you know, in their life. You know what I mean? But you know, I get to look at, you know what I mean? I struggle with this too, you know.
We all do.
We all do, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I get to look at me, you know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, dude, how did you end up here? How did you just manage to have such a great, you know, person, you know what I mean? Like, but then I find that, you know, that saying in my life where, you know, dude, wherever, you know, look where you come from. You know, where you are right now is who you are.
Absolutely.
And know this also too, and because I count, like, I talk to people about this when they in that state and they look at themselves. Well, I wouldn't date myself, right? And I'm like, but know this: you are potential right now. So what potential do you want to be in the future? And then all of a sudden the light goes off, and you can actually do it right now. It's not something you have to work towards. We forget our potential. I could be here and here in an instant, right? Correct. Quantum physicists taught us that.
Correct.
Entanglement.
Correct.
So we can entangle ourselves with a feeling, with a state, and get into that. And
but what is that? What we're talking about? I believe you get into a position where you love yourself. So that person you're asking about, you know, would you date yourself right now? The reason they won't, they don't love themselves in that moment. That's that frequency we want to get on. When you love yourself and you know, in this moment, you know, I am doing everything in my power. I'm working towards my goal, you know, whatever. It's this love comes over you where you like, you kind of respect yourself. Yeah. And I feel like so many of us at home we won't allow ourselves to love ourselves because we've been taught that that's like not okay. And that we need to like always be pushing, always be striving, always be, you know, doing something and never just be like okay with what's going on. We never really love ourselves. And so how can we expect anybody to love us if we don't love ourselves?
And the truth is, when you really contemplate this, you can only love yourself and then portray and give it away. Mm-hmm. A poor person, in how we look at poor, cannot give anything away. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Only a wealthy person can. So if you want to express your love onto another human being, you have to be the frequency of love. What level? Like, am I at 20 degrees love, or am I at 72 degrees love, or am I 80 degrees love? It's a different degree. What degree do I want to be at? Yeah. In whatever degree I'm at, that's all I can give away. But if you don't want the 20 degree love and you're at 20 degree love, I'm like, well, you got to change the frequency of that love. And every human being has the potential to that. But it literally is. It's physics. It's quantum physics.
Well, let's explain that real quick. So how does somebody change it? Simple. You become aware of it.
You become aware.
As soon as you become aware of it, you've already changed.
Or rub two sticks together.
Yep. Start creating that heat.
Give that friction.
But truly, that's what it is once you're aware of it, then it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, awareness. Yeah, self-awareness is what is self-awareness? The way I look at self-awareness is when I have thoughts in my head, such as I'm not good or I'm not good enough or what have you. Well, who knows you're not good enough, right? There's a witnesser in me that isn't any of that. The thing that's witnessing, it's almost like the director witnessing the set where the actors are acting, but the director themselves isn't the one acting. They're watching it. So we have a director in our head that's watching all this. When you go from that vantage point in your life, when you go to that place, that's when you actually know thyself.
I love that.
You are the witnesser of the little drama that you're playing in.
Wow.
You aren't the drama. You're playing it out, but you're the witnesser of the drama. You're the person watching the drama.
You're the person watching the drama.
And that's to me. You get to that place and you'll be fine. You'll get out of it. You'll forget. Imagine the director once in a while gets caught up in how the actors are going like, well, wait a minute, I'm the director.
Let's explain that too. So like when you get caught up in something, what that means is you're getting caught up in your thoughts. You're thinking you are your thoughts.
Yeah.
And so when you're self-aware, you're aware, hey, I just had a negative thought or a positive thought, whatever. But like when that voice says you can't do this or you're not good enough, your awareness goes, oh, wait, I can witness myself saying that. Therefore, I can't be that. And so you change the story. And that's when you go, no, I've thought that in the past, but I know I'm fully capable of accomplishing anything I set my mind to. Wow. And that's that step forward. So it's you becoming aware that you were not the thoughts in your head. Your thoughts in your head pass, come and go, just like clouds, just like an ocean, in, out,
like oxygen,
etc.
yeah.
So as soon as you start aligning your identity with your thoughts, you're screwed. Because you can be the most in the best spotted place in your life. Negative thoughts will still come up. Thoughts is like this big ocean all around us, and then our body or we host the thought. So we either allow that thought to flourish, and that can be a negative thought or a positive thought, or we let it go.
And that's what boom, right there. Yeah, we just let it go.
That's the answer.
Because
let go.
Yeah, because once we have something, and we know we are experiencing that moment, we're experiencing the state of love. We said it before, you are love. And when you have that opportunity to be love, you have to really feel that in that moment and be it in that moment, because, it can get scary when you're away from that moment. And when it gets scary, your mind start attacking you nonstop. Boom, boom, boom. What if this? What if that? What if he breaks my heart? What if she breaks my heart? I don't want to lose them. I don't want to, I want to keep living this, But if we can just simply, this was a very beautiful moment. Let's just let it go until we have another opportunity to feel that same love.
Yeah, and the reason that will always happen, so whether it's a positive or a negative thought, they're always fleeting. So I don't even attach to a positive thought. I respond to it, but I have to let go because every negative thought was once a positive thought. This is the cycle of life.
Wow.
You have two poles. You look at the physics of electricity. You're like, you can't have it. So what happens is if I'm in a loving relationship, I know this is fleeting. But if I know it's fleeting, I could step forward and renew it every day. Like someone said, hey, if you maintain the same energy that you did in the beginning of a relationship, at the end, there will be no end. Ooh. There will be no end. Actually, I think it was Tony Robbins who said that.
Nice. Nice.
But so there is no end. But what happens is we hold on to that first date. And now we're 10 years in, and you're still comparing. That first date becomes a negative thought now, even though it was a great thought. Why? Because you're comparing it. So every thought will flip on you. Everything. So we talk about quantum physics. We talk about different understandings of positions. Everything's flipping. So, like, where's it flipping? A quarter will be heads or tails, heads or tails. I'm focused on the quarter, not the heads and the tails now in life. I'm not. Well, it's a 25 cents either way. I don't care what side of the quarter is.
You also start to see how the mind works from above. And what I mean by that is before I remember thinking I was my thoughts and was my mind. And what I mean by that is like, let's take the first date example. So you're 10 years in on a relationship and you're going, well, am I still feeling the same way I did 10 years ago? Do I still have that spark? Do I still want this?
Nailed
And we think that's unique to us.
That's that little guy that comes out eating a carrot.
Yeah,
I'll get the hell out of here.
But we think that's like unique to our situation, and that's only me and how I feel. No. That's how every brain out here does, because our brain was designed to categorize, measure, compare, and then and solidify, and then put it away. Because the mind just it's here to help us keep this linear idea of what's going on. So when you see that, oh, this isn't me and the way I feel, this is how the brain works. You can step back from it. And you're no longer attached to this. Oh, is that me feeling this way? Oh, you're right. I don't know if that. No. That's how the brain functions.
That's how the brain functions.
Yes,
man.
And so you're not as attached to it.
Yeah.
It's not like this. Oh, that's my heart telling me that I need to be with somebody else. No, it's not. It's the brain categorizing stuff exactly how it should.
Yeah, and actually, when we get better at this, it's like taming. The theory is in that setting, your brain is controlling your life. Your mind is controlling your life. The mind is a brilliant tool,
but a shitty master.
It is. So when the greater I get at this, I have less thoughts coming through my head. I really do.
Because you know what they are now.
Yeah.
It's not you. It's just a thought.
Years ago, I was always accused of, you don't think, do you? I'm like,
it's a gift.
It's a gift.
It's a gift.
It's apparent that you don't think.
And you know what's the most beautiful thing is? The most beautiful thing is that when we're kids, it is so obvious that when we get in our minds and start thinking,
we shouldn't be there.
We do wrong.
Yeah.
We do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And we misbehave.
Yep.
Because we went and thought of, we went in our own minds and think. And that's when we get that.
Yep.
That's spanking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's exactly it.
No, tell me not.
Yep, you're exactly right. I know exactly what you mean.
I see this with my football boys.
Tell us about it.
These kids, man. When we started, I remember we talked about this.
Yeah.
And before my journey,
day, I think, right?
Before my journey, now we are at the. This is our last week in the season.
Congrats.
Thank you, sir. I've seen so much growth. So we started where the kids were just getting exposed to football, and they were getting so exposed to it that they had so much fear. They had seen how aggressive it is on TV. Their parents go hard on it, like, "Oh, you better tackle that boy hard," And then, Dad, Mom,
I'm fine.
Yeah. I'm honest. I haven't done that before, and we as parents, we put so much pressure on them because we already experienced it. They haven't experienced it, so when they start thinking about it, oh my goodness, it will hurt. I don't want to get hurt. It will hurt, But then, through time, you get to see that when they don't think and just believe in their ability,
and they're focused,
and now they're working with their heart, you get to see so much growth. And my God, we went through a whole journey with this kid.
Was that beautiful? Because when we had you on last time, that was right when you were beginning the coaching, correct?
I haven't even began yet.
Okay, you were about to start. Yeah, it was
about
that evening.
To start.
You're right.
It was the evening of.
Yeah, the evening of. And now you're here on your last week of the season.
Last week, man. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Did they call you Shepherd?
Yeah, straight up.
Oh, they know me as JTS, Jeff the Shepherd.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's how Jeff the Shepherd, because right there, when I'm connecting and empowering those kids, I'm connecting to the shepherd boy that I was once.
Hell yeah!
And I'm using that experience and the teachings that I learned, and through that lifetime, you know what I mean. And I connect to that. So I call my services on my training services JTS Fitness.
Yep.
Because I connect to my younger self, that the one who didn't think a lot and just was there in that moment. And so this kid has grown tremendously, and it's going to be very emotional.
And so have you during that time.
Yeah.
Because as much as you're teaching them, you're learning from them, you know?
Oh, I learned so much, man.
About yourself and who you are, and just like, it's powerful.
It is the most powerful thing, man.
And it's a give and take, and it's something we don't talk about. And I know coaches everywhere feel this way.
Yes, and guess what? People focus on money, man.
Yeah.
And they forget who they really are.
Yeah.
And this experience, it was a voluntary experience.
Yeah, yeah.
And the way I grew from this experience, I grew I became more me.
Yeah.
You know, I saw that, wow.
You went from 72 to 80 degrees.
I love it.
To 80 degrees, my man.
I love it.
And you keep climbing. Yeah. You
keep climbing.
Keep climbing.
And the degrees, you nailed it there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's called transcendence. So if the human body actually got to the point where it can solidify, it would just transcend. It wouldn't break. It wouldn't decrepitate. It would actually expand, and then the molecules would get out. So the understanding of like Elijah from the Bible is he ascended right in front of everyone. Just
rainbow
disappeared.
body. Yep.
Yeah, rainbow body. So
which is possible, by the way. I don't want people to think that this is some like metaphysical thing.
By the end of the show, I'm going to disappear.
But like the more we can demystify all this, you know, I remember when I started learning these concepts, I was like, oh yeah, like you're just going to disappear. And it's like, yes, you will. We'll allow Frank a few moments to disappear.
Yeah. 1, 2.
Yeah.
And I'm back.
Quantum.
You missed it. You blinked.
Yeah.
You blinked.
You missed it. Quantum disappearance. I just I like pointing that type of stuff out because when I started understanding these concepts, I didn't believe that, you know, everybody was psychic. I didn't believe that we all had the ability to remote view. I didn't believe we had the ability to literally turn into light, like you're talking about from the Bible, the story with Elijah. But this is truth. And this is factual information. And when I started to really understand this, I was like, oh my God, there's levels to this. And what everything really around us is energy, vibration, and frequency. Mm-hmm. And science has proved this. Like, we know this. And so when we can vibrate on that same level and have that level of energy, you know, your body, you can dissipate into light. Yeah. And they call that the rainbow body in a lot of the Eastern culture, you know.
And the key is you, like, if I'm at 50 degrees, I have to be 100% okay at being at 50 degrees in order to elevate up. Mm-hmm. There are people that are at 71 degrees and hate it, and they move down to 70 and then to 69.
Well, that's because they felt more comfortable there because they had been there longer. You know what I mean? Yeah,
because they're actually downplaying the frequency. So it doesn't matter what degree you're at. You have to, if you're shooting for 80 degrees and you're at 15 degrees, you have to be okay with 15 degrees. Mm. And just simply being okay will turn that around and you'll expand. Because in the laws of physics, nothing remains the same. Nothing stays still. So you're either moving towards the frequency in which you want to be in or away from it. Mm-hmm. There is no stagnation. You don't do that. So how do I move in the direction in which I want to go? You have to be 100% okay with where you are. Yeah. And once you do that, you recognize that you actually go from 15 degrees to 25. Yeah. Oh, my God, without even doing anything. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, oh my God, and you feel different at 25. And then, energy begets energy, and momentum begets momentum. And all of a sudden, boom, you start doing this thing. Yeah. And next thing you know, it's like, wow, this is innate in every human being. But we're either moving towards the preferential person we want to be or experience we want to have, or moving away from it. And that's why you talk about focus on money. Money is a tangible, fleetable thing, but abundance is who we are. Abundance is another adjective for love. Money is just a representation of abundance in the outside world. There's nothing wrong with it. But to focus on money is to focus on the sandwich you're eating, and once it's there, it's gone. It becomes you after a couple hours.
It becomes you. Yeah. And you miss so many opportunities just because you're focusing on money. Yeah. Instead of focusing on the abundance, you know.
Well, I feel like what you guys are... Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was going to say, what you guys were just describing is so important for, you know, listeners at home, everybody. Like, you have to accept what's going on right now in its given moment in order to move anywhere.
I agree.
Because if you don't accept the given circumstances, that means your narrative in your head is, this ought to be different. I should be in a different place. This could be better. And so you're not living in the moment. You're telling yourself that you know it'll be better when this happens, or you know, I just need this to happen and then I'll feel that way. Wrong. No.
Wrong.
You have to accept the situation on its face, in its entirety. And no, like, oh, I kind of accept it. No, like, you have to accept it. And then you go from 15 degrees to 25 instantly. Because you've let go.
Yeah, and it's a loss.
You've let go.
Yeah, and when you accept it, you will actually experience the thing you want. It doesn't mean you give up on it. That's what I think people think is, when you surrender to the moment in which you're in, it's the most powerful thing a human can do.
Yeah.
Surrendering is accepting everything. Like again, life isn't happening to us. It's happening for us.
Yes.
And when I actually accept that, all of a sudden I naturally expand into more experiences beyond the place where I am now. But if I'm not accepting this, all of a sudden now I'm going to have now I'm going to be scared to get into a relationship.
Yeah. Ooh,
the last one didn't work out.
Yep.
Why would this one work out?
Yep. Well, there's that thinking mind,
but you know, all women are crazy.
Yep.
You know,
but there's that thinking mind. That's thinking mind. You know what I mean? And that's conditioned
these
thinking.
Are stories
you know,
tell yourself, and then you realize after
we
a
all
while,
do that shit.
Yeah, after a while, when you become self-aware, you're like, well, who's the common denominator in the situations I'm in? And it's always and forever it's you.
And people, that's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is,
I had to get it shoved down my throat.
Yeah, me too. Me too, Frank.
Yeah, I'm me too, man. Because when you actually get the in a relationship with the person you were looking for, the person who you desire, and you had an opportunity to say, you know, boom, oh my goodness, this is the girl of my dreams. I've been dreaming about this woman. You know, now, you know, it's like you get that fear now. You get scared and you get nervous, and you start to, just like, you know, achieving that success that you always desired. Yeah. You know, it's the same love.
It
is. But you know, when that happens, and it's part and parcel of the physical world we live in. In other words, if I'm so my body, right, like I get into a car, right, the first time I ever driven a car, right, you know, doing 20 miles an hour is no big deal, but getting on the parkway, you know, living back in New York, they call them parkways, going from 0 to like 60 or 55, I think it was a bit scary. But now 0 to 55, I have a Hemi in my car.
It's quick.
As long as there's no cop around, it doesn't feel uncomfortable.
Right.
So, but now what happens is, so if I'm used to traveling at a certain speed, well, I want to elevate. So I'm going to go from say 80 to 100. Why is it scary? Because the fear creates alertness and focus. Yeah. It's not our enemy in this case.
It's not our enemy.
So, but once I become a fear, now I want to make sure. So there's always this slight discomfort in the altitude change of life. So you have to be okay with that. Like if I was climbing a mountain and the mountain was 14,000 feet, knowing the oxygen level, I'm going to get tired. But I understand what's happening, but eventually my red blood cells will oxygenate themselves and everything will pick up, and all of a sudden my body gets acclimated to the setting. But I don't stop. I don't run down the mountain.
Right.
I understand what's happening. But if you understand the physics of it, there's going to be a slight discomfort. That means you're doing something good.
Yeah.
It means you're moving in the right direction.
You're moving in the right direction, and you have to trust that.
Yeah, that's right.
You really have to trust that, because you can miss what you always been dreaming of.
Yeah, because you don't want to feel that, what I call the G-force of life. Yeah. The gravitational pull of life. You know, it's like when an airplane's taking off, moving towards the destination you want to be, it's uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. It really is. And then when it's ascending and heading down, it's uncomfortable too, but at least, hey, we're there. We're here.
And we just have to trust that if it's uncomfortable, the degrees is going to change. It's not just going to stay cold. It's not going to stay the winter time. Yeah, you go through the cold phases, but there's also the summer, there's also fall, where it's different type of, It's what we live. It's our environment.
Yeah.
And it's never the same.
It's never the same.
Ever.
No.
So you can experience one weather and give up in all weathers. And you know what I mean? That you can't.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Cycles, yeah.
And we get in this like weird zone where we think like, okay, I want to have my job and I want to get really stable and really comfortable, right? And then I'm going to be good. Okay, I've got this job and everything's going well, etc. Something will come up, and usually we call this crisis, and a death of a family member, a family friend. Something happens in life. We are all trying to stay in this very comfortable, position all the time of never getting outside of that comfort zone. And then something forces us outside of it. That's the universe. That's our, the other sides of us, etc., trying to teach us about ourselves. And then we label it as crisis. So this could be a sickness. This could be you got cancer. You're whatever. We often label crisis as crisis when in reality it's ourselves moving us out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, because the thing is,
huge.
From a human, so we're spirit, right? So the spirit can transcend all this, right? That's the viewer of it. But we came here to have an experience as the self. So Frank came to have an experience. Sometimes he's Frankie. Depends what day it is.
Depends what kind of mood he's in.
Yeah, here goes Frankie again. So, but so I witnessed that. But there's two components. There's more than two components, but I'm going to use these first two components of the human psyche. One is certainty, and the other is uncertainty.
Wow.
So you have to play the game. If people are like, I want to know these laws are certain, but I can only experience these laws in the uncertainty world. Yeah. But what do you mean? It's like, well, how fun is it to keep doing 80 miles an hour? After a while, it's like you're not even moving.
Yep.
Right.
So, but the uncertainty is what's 100 going to be like? Well, knowing that I just push on the gas and get to the, I'm certain that there's uncertainty. So it's this constant flip of seasons going certainty, uncertainty, uncertainty, certainty, uncertainty. And it could come up like an algorithm. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily go from one to the other. It could be certainty, uncertainty. Mm-hmm. Certainty, uncertainty. That's
we're programming that algorithm through how we're talking to ourselves in our head.
When you get married, it's uncertainty.
Frank.
Man, you just got married, man. What are you talking about?
You just got married, man.
Come on now.
He's actually, like, I've had 10 years.
It's actually a week ago today we got married.
That's really?
Yeah,
first week anniversary.
Wow, man. I started
Congrats. That's beautiful. That's seriously beautiful.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm going to get a lot of shit from that from Karen. But I am certain that I love you.
Yes, there you go. We'll leave it at that.
I am not certain that I might take the garbage out later. That's uncertain.
Or forget.
Yeah.
No, and some people just have to understand that. I'm not certain that I might take the garbage out.
No,
later.
I don't proclaim that at all.
But, not at all. But you will.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Eventually I will, so give me time, right? Like I will get there,
But that's so from the human experience outside the spiritual experience.
Yeah.
The psyche of the human needs certainty and uncertainty, but it needs the balance point of it. If you go too many, so if you look at the algorithm like ones and zeros, right? Mm-hmm. And there's two components to that. So say 1 would be certainty, 0 would be uncertainty. All right. So, but if you have too many zeros in a row, you're going to be burnt out. Yeah,
hence, people at their jobs who are doing the same thing over and over.
That would be a 1. That's certain.
Certainty. But you know what I mean. That's why people get burnt out. You can get burnt out on either way.
Ooh, you really get burnt out.
That's the reason.
Either way.
That's why everybody's exhausted. Is every day they're waking up and they're doing the same thing, and they're wondering, why don't I feel better? And it's like, well, let's take a look at the last month. You've gotten up the same day, you ate the same shitty food, you didn't really exercise, you went to the same job and told yourself all day long in your head, man, I can't wait until Friday. And then after these 30 days, nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed.
And why is this so mind-blowing to us? Why would we expect something to change when we're not changing anything any day?
Yeah.
We're just going through the motions, one, never experiencing zero, or vice versa.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's tiring. It's tiring.
It is tiring. That's why when the zero part comes, people choose extreme stuff.
Oh, totally.
And that could be detrimental to for the physical body. The spiritual body will continue to live on, but we came here to we're spirits having human experience, as they say.
That's a good way to say it.
But yeah, Mike, I don't take my physical being trivial. I know that the sequence of skills, a sequence of principles to take care of myself as best I know. Mm-hmm. But yet I'm not worried because I know this physical body, no matter how many pull-ups I do or what, how much kale I eat. Do you eat kale?
I eat everything, man.
Yeah. Kale hurts my stomach.
Does it?
Yeah.
Really?
That's funny.
Well, years ago, when I was a kid, kale is what they put on the plate as garnish.
Yeah, side of it.
Yeah, you never ate that stuff.
Yeah.
That's for goats, right? Goats eat kale.
There you go.
Goats do eat kale.
Do
They got really strong stomachs.
Much
they do.
I don't mean to knock kale.
Kale is important. I was gonna say a lot of people, a lot of health conscious.
Well,
people
there's a lot of nutrients. So I have to maybe put it in a blender.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, how the hell did I get off on this tangent on kale?
Oh no! Kale is really good, man.
Always in the zero,
which is healthy.
You can put it in a smoothie and mix it up and have fun with it. But kale is really healthy and and good actually.
Yeah.
There you go.
I just actually, last weekend, Kayla and I went to that conference a couple weeks back, and we went to Jamba Juice, and she got Jamba Juice that was a kale and ginger Jamba Juice, and she was talking about how much it settled her stomach, which was the ginger, not the kale.
Right.
Yeah, correct.
Because the kale can be somewhat rough. It depends how your stomach is.
If you have a weak stomach, then you know.
We were talking about this earlier, you and I, when you were outside.
Oh yeah.
That we were talking about getting to a whole like when you get to a different frequency. I don't know if anyone's ever studied this before. But I've heard people talk about this, but not from the scientific, more metaphysic.
Yeah.
Which kind of science, but they haven't done studies on it about the higher frequency we get. The more level we get, the less food we actually need.
That's totally true.
I agree.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I've actually heard people talk about this. Matthias De Stefano talks about this.
Yeah, but I'm saying eventually you're going to get a biologist that's this head stuck in the biology. Kind of like what happened with those quantum physicists.
Yeah.
Like this, won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people have been talking about this for a long time, but they actually proven it on the level of what we call quantum physics.
Yeah.
They've proven these theories, and actually Einstein and two other gentlemen wrote a paper. I think it was the EPR.
Okay.
EPR paper about they thought that quantum mechanics was incomplete, but they just proved it wasn't. It was actually complete. So, but
exciting stuff.
Yeah,
that's crazy. It's very exciting. I was going to ask, how many times you eat a day?
I don't know. I know
you eat when you just
Especially the type of work I do.
Right.
You know, it's funny. I was at work the other day, and I'm sitting there hanging out, talking. Hours go by, and all of a sudden the client starts talking about food. I'm like, I wish I had done that.
Now you're starving.
Now my stomach's growling.
Yeah.
It was a suggestive thing. And
see,
damn.
See now it's a mindset thing.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. And with food, I know a lot of people out there with, who are everybody's getting on their self-conscious, stay where they want to improve their body. They want to eat healthy. But we all have these weaknesses where if somebody starts to talk about food, we fight it. And if we keep fighting it, and then you know what I mean? And then we get to a state where I can't fight it no more. I have to get some,
And you know why that is? It's just it's a pattern of frequency. So everything that we have a definition to, food, we actually have it physically attached into our feelings. So because if
this is why people like comfort food.
Yeah, in other words, if I said, would you like some mud to eat? Well, you have no attachment to mud, so you wouldn't get hungry. You wouldn't salivate. But so what's the difference between mud or say a chocolate mud cake? All of a sudden you start salivating. What's the it's the definition I gave to, and have a frequency. All of a sudden that pattern starts to overtake my what we call impulse control and starts to take over.
Yeah.
So as we become more conscious, we can actually break down those patterns to where I'm going to eat for more sustenance, not because of it's an addictive, and that's a healthy way to do it.
Yeah,
you know.
And let's get back to love.
We love good. That's the only thing that matters.
We are love.
We love food.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me repeat that. We love food.
Do we love food, or are we addicted to food?
Now, love can get addicting.
It's a different frequency.
It's a different frequency. But look, you know, like we were talking about a feeling. You know, we were talking about how it feels. You know, it feels real good.
Yeah, it does.
You know, and so like, you know, we love food. You know, and there's certain foods that feel good, that feels us, and there's some foods that are kind of have that little bitter to it. You know, that's you know, and that's why people have a choice to choose what kind of food they eat. But we have to be able to, you know, create. We have to have a little bit of, you know, sweet and sour. Of all.
Variety.
Again,
the variety, you know?
Yeah, it goes again, certainty and uncertainty.
Yeah.
Like, everything in the world.
So it all connects.
Everything in the physical world has positive and negative.
It all connects.
Yeah. Like it has to keep flipping the balance side. Right?
Well, and as you start to elevate, you know, you're understanding how the mind works, how your thoughts work, how your body works. You naturally start to eat better foods, put better stuff in your body. You're a little bit more in tune because you're listening to your body. Your body's going to tell you what you need.
Yes,
like
it will.
I randomly maybe in the last year and a half, I like had this like craving for like more like seafood. Like I'm talking like salmon, shrimp, stuff like that, vegetables and everything. Yeah. And it wasn't me. It was my body like craving these, and it's like that elevation of where your frequency lies.
Your frequency.
People who, you know, when you go to eat maybe McDonald's or Burger King or this shit all, you know, each and every day, you feel like shit after. Everyone does. You literally are like, oh, wow, I want to take a nap. Yeah, that doesn't feel like inspiring.
Because it's interesting. It becomes all relative as well. Because if you're eating McDonald's every day, you don't know. Like, in other words, like it's very difficult for any individual just on themselves to measure energy field. Like, in other words, so, like, you know, listen to Sadhguru. He talks about how he sleeps 2.5 hours a day.
Yeah, which is crazy.
2.5?
Yeah, I know. I couldn't do that.
But I'm saying, so so I can only base it off of where I sleep, right? And again, I understand. Like, there are some days I could easily get 4 hours of sleep and feel like I just had 10.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Right. Yeah, and I don't sit there and think about it. I don't sit there and think about it much. But the person who's eating McDonald's all day long doesn't know what it feels like to be any other frequency. So it's very difficult for them to get out of that. So they probably even lost the feeling of what was it like when I was a kid.
Yeah. I love that you bring that up because Kayla's mentioned that to me in the past. When you're stuck in a frequency, you don't even know that, like, so Kayla, my girlfriend, she's got like different food allergies, right? And so her whole life she grew up like eating like wheats and carbohydrates and stuff like that. Yeah. And she just thought like, oh, like this is normal to kind of feel like shit, you know, and like always kind of be tired and all this. And then she changed her diet in the last, like, I don't know, year and a half, 2 years. Yeah. But now she's got like this energy and like
that's beautiful.
But that she never thought existed before, simply because we weren't aware of it. And we live in this country where we're told there's like this food pyramid, right? And that you got to have X, like, and it's all supposed to be like that. And that's all bullshit. Everyone's body is different. We all need different types of nutrients and all this type of stuff. And so you're not supposed to feel sluggish. Okay, you're not supposed to feel tired. And so if you're feeling that, it's time to take a look at the diet.
That's right. And,
you know?
And the one diet you're really supposed to look at is your mental diet.
Oh, that's the most important. Yeah. That's where it all starts.
That's the mental diet. Because like I could have a great mental diet, and if there's no other food around, I'm hungry. McDonald's isn't going to hurt me.
Oh, no. Yeah, and you're right about that. But, and I'm glad you bring that up.
But I could be in a freaking really bad place, and I could eat what's considered the best food. I could eat a kale salad and still go pass out.
Yeah, I don't care how healthy you eat. If you have a shitty sense of thoughts running through, and your thoughts are still, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, but you're eating salad like crazy and raw food, but it doesn't matter.
But when you align your thoughts with the outside world,
it's all one.
It's just beautiful. It's brilliant.
Beautiful, man.
Good point.
And, you know, our body is always trying to fight us, you know. And especially, you know, if it's what we put in, you know what I mean? If we treat it with love, You know, we know that, oh my goodness, you know, I feel good when my frequency goes up when I do this. You know, if I eat good, I feel like this. If I try new foods, new healthy foods, you know, oh my goodness, my mind just, boom, sees a whole different world and a whole different, you know, you create a whole new environment. I met one lady at the gym, super ripped. Yeah. Super ripped. So, and I asked her.
Yeah, it's one thing when I have to compare myself to another dude, but
you have to compare yourself to that ripped lady. Hey, that lady could kick my ass, man. But so what'd you say to her?
But then I was like, how you doing? You know, and doing great. I was like, you look great.
Yeah.
Do you compete? And she was like, no. And I'm telling you, this lady was ripped. Like if she competed, if she stepped on stage.
Is this at the Mountainside Gym?
At a Mountainside Gym in Gilbert, though.
Oh, Gilbert, all right.
Yeah, you know. So I asked her, how many hours do you train? I was like, you look great. You look amazing. Do you compete? She's like, no. I'm like, wow. You don't compete. You just work out. She was like, yes. I just work out. You know, my body always tries to fight me sometimes. You know, but guess what? I tell my body, you are not going to beat me. I'll keep fighting.
You're not in control.
You're not in control. I'm in control.
That's far better than competition right there.
Hell
exactly.
Yeah.
And guess what? I asked her, so how many hours do you train a day? She's like, from 12 to 5. I was like,
well, hey, ask a kid how long they play in the playground.
Yeah, right.
This is her playground.
Mm-hmm.
Like people work 8-hour days, but I would rather be in the gym for 8-hour days and work for an hour and a half, right? Come on.
Boom.
You know,
I was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
She's doing it.
You work out, and I'm like, wow, I can definitely see that.
Well, how long do you work out for?
I work
you
out
don't just come in and leave.
Yeah, I work out for 3 hours.
Each day? Holy crap.
Most days. You know, like 4 times a day, but sometimes I gotta. I'm not like that.
He's probably not even adding when he's training people, because when you're training people, you work out.
Yeah. Dude, I sweat so much. That's why I stick to. I'm like the same size. I'm the same size because I burn so many calories training people, man. In these classes, and I have to bring out the energy.
You are the energy.
Yep.
I am the energy. And I have to be aware that if I'm in the center of a room, if I'm in the center of, getting people to really move their body, you know how hard it is to tell somebody to move a certain way? You know, it's very hard because we also face with our mind. Our mind always said, man, the attitude a little bit.
The ego. We call that ego. Yep.
Yeah, the ego. I can't do that, Yeah. But when I'm in there, I'm burning a lot of calories. It's what I do.
You are their mirror.
I am their mirror. So this lady, I asked her that, and I was connected. I was like, wow, that's super inspiring. So, she has a condition, but, it just, she always just trying to improve on that. She works against that condition that, or probably the doctors told her she had, but she always just trying to work towards that and work out so hard so she can really become so powerful and so strong to not identify to that condition.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful thing. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, every human being has a condition. It's called gravity. And I'm not even saying that jokingly. We came into this world. I'm like, this is like gravity is a force, right?
Absolutely.
So, but there's something in us that can push beyond it. Like I hear about these athletes now. Like years ago, you hear about like Jack LaLanne and doing all this crazy stuff with pulling tugboats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now you got like the David Goggins running 240 miles without just
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But what he's doing, it's not like people are like, oh, wow, I can't do that. It's not the running. It's him telling his mind to shut up, you know? And that's his, like, when you listen to him, like, you don't have to run, but listen to what he's saying. He's like, as he's running, he's like, I can feel my feet breaking down and my back's going out. And then he just goes, shut up. And he keeps running. And all of a sudden, his body heals itself. It's in our mind that we can't do it because we've never been there. Mm-hmm. So the mind is saying, hey, Frank, you're leaving the block. We only know the block. Where you going? Like, yeah, you're coming. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, the body's like, oh, well, I'm going. You know, I go into a cold shower every day. Mm-hmm. Every day. But every day, my body's like, what the what are you doing? Yeah. Up, we're here. Yeah. Yep. Shut up. Mm-hmm. Tame it. And I smile, but going in, I'm like, what am I thinking? Like, jump into cold water and, you get up and you go to the gym. What am I thinking? I go in to work and shut up. Yeah. Just do it. And next thing you know, you have the most amazing day.
Absolutely.
It's because
it's cool how that works.
Yeah. I controlled the mind didn't control me.
Boom.
So, Jeff, I'll start with this. So, you were just talking and explaining to us kind of like how you're that mirror for your clients, right? So, I was watching this Dr. Cho thing last night, and this kind of connects. He was talking
Which show was that?
So, he did an interview with Regina Meredith, and it was probably like 10 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a long one, but I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Yeah.
I'd never seen him discuss this. But one thing he talked about on there that was fascinating is he explained that all of us have something called mirror neurons. Yeah. And mirror neurons are simply like, when you're feeding a baby was his example, and you open your mouth so they open their mouth. They see what you're doing and you do it. Did
he get into the brain part of it?
Well, go ahead. Do you know?
So like
tag on to this because I was
just we were sitting there watching Eddie Van Halen play guitar, and they were able to actually measure his brain patterns. Your brain pattern would almost mirror his. Actually you're playing the guitar like Eddie Van. You might not have the skill set in the hand, but you fall into that in the moment in which you're watching him.
You're picking up on it.
So that's why we like to watch people work out. If you like to work out, you like to people see a writer, like whatever it is you're doing, because you can actually get your brain. But now you have to actually enact it. You have to do some physical things, some training in order to maintain that pattern because the pattern will just disappear. Yeah. So that's what we're doing.
Well, that's what I was going to ask Jeff. If like when you're training and people see you doing it, they clearly begin to do it, and that you guys are kind of then feeding off each other.
Do it.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
but their technique is coming from watching you, and they're connecting on your same brainwave.
Boom,
which is so empowering for you and your clients.
And they're entangled.
As a coach, I have to be at such a high frequency. Yep. Because this is what human beings crave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We crave it.
Sometimes you can see it in his face right
now.
Hell
yeah. I can feel it.
He's Jeff's going to disappear before I do.
I know. Seriously. And good.
Oh, you blinked.
Yeah. They blinked out. He just got back.
Yeah,
Jeff, welcome back.
Thank you. No, but you just have to beat this person. You have to be this frequency that we as humans crave, and so we don't think, because when we're thinking, we miss.
You just nailed it. We're not human thinkers or human doers. We're human beings. Being is the key, and in the state of being, doing becomes easy. Thinking becomes easy. But it's the state I'm in, which I'm thinking of doing, that is either fulfilling or dismal.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, also touch on this. So you work with, adults, et cetera, for your coaching stuff, or your training, et cetera. Yeah. And then you're working with kids, during the coaching stuff.
Yes.
There's no difference. People look at kids like, oh, they're little, they don't know what's going. Hell no, they still have the same mirror neurons I do as an adult.
But they probably complain less.
Yeah, seriously, they probably do bitch less because they got less in the head.
Dude,
but tell us a little bit about that.
So my youngest client, let me just say the youngest person that I've coached.
What age?
5.
5, okay.
So 5 to
probably in the 60s or something, right?
70s.
70s, okay.
70s. 5 to 7 days.
That's a big swing. People would go, oh, this 70-year-old has a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom. This person doesn't really know what's going on yet. No. Both bodies can do this.
It is the same thing.
See,
I had to tell that 5-year-old that, dude, you can do whatever you want. You know, you can. You are capable of tackling that guy. Okay, don't you be afraid, man. Face it. And it might have took like, you know, half of the season.
Yep.
To see that he believes in now. You know, this is the kid that was taking a little nap because, you know, oh, I don't want to do that type of stuff, you know. But I let him just, you know, take that nap, and I'm like, and I will come back and say, hey, you know, we can use you down there, right? You know, I don't really force it on him.
Yeah, you don't throw the water cooler on the
You don't.
Yep.
You know, they gotta they have to make my 5-year-old had to make that decision, and I know he can. I know he can. If he can make a decision to go to the restroom,
yeah, there you go.
I think he can make a decision to
go tackle somebody.
Go tackle somebody.
Yeah.
You know, and some, you know, if we can, right here, when you know, when I work with, you know, the older, you know, 70s.
Yeah.
Do you have them tackle people?
Probably not. Hopefully not.
But we, you know, I noticed that we have lived so much. We have lived so much that we developed, you know, that our body can't continue to just.
Yep.
Our body can't continue to go on or to be stronger. No, man. You know. That's wrong.
So what's the common denominator between both this 5-year-old and this 7-year-old? Belief.
I was going to say Jeff.
Jeff too. But you know what I mean? What we're talking about is where do you believe? Yes. What you believe is what you experience.
That's it.
And so it took this 5-year-old half a season to believe he could tackle.
Boom.
And this 7-year-old, it's going to take them half a month with Jeff in order till they believe, hey, age is just a number.
Yeah. Or just, you know, now with me, you can also listen to this podcast to get this, you know, because if you watch this a couple times, you'll get different, you know, different meanings and different words, and so you have to watch this a couple times. You have to listen to this when you're driving in your car.
Look, he's already plugging it.
Yeah. Nice, Jeff. Nice. Appreciate that. But he's so right, and you have to hear it from different angles.
Right. You do. You know, there's
until it clicks.
There's 4 sides of
That's why when Kara talks to me, I sequentially move around the living room. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I want to hear from a different angle.
Trying to get another perspective, babe. Trying to get another perspective.
Hey, babe, so if I was having this conversation at this spot, let me see if I can move to that spot.
I think I might understand you a bit better.
Maybe let me just shift a little bit.
And then I sneak out the door.
But that is the truth, and that's why we like to talk to so many different walks of life on this show, because like the way Jeff explained it versus the way that, you know, like let's say Tony Robbins, like a speaker or somebody like that we may cover. They're both saying the same thing, but they're saying it from a different way.
Yes.
And so we all have a way for this to click. Like when I remember when I first met Frank and we started going over these concepts, like he explained to me, he's like, Mike, look, okay, like your body, you know, you have all this, you know, energy and stuff going on, and picture everything in your life as like a guitar, right? And you want that guitar to be playing good, right? You keep telling me you want to play this great life and this great song, but yet are each of your strings in tune? Are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? Are you are you
breathing well, man?
Well, all of this, you know, like there's all these different things. Like, what are your nightlife, your romantic life, your life with your family? These are all different strings, and none of us are tuning these strings, and we're expecting this guitar to just play like it's beautiful.
But then actually, when
you gotta start tuning each string, and then everything starts to flow, and you're like, oh shit, that's what I was looking for.
Once all the strings are tuned,
you are an instrument.
But that's how I heard it, and I was a guitar player, and I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, and when all the
I was like, I get this.
When all the strings, all six
strings.
At
the end of this, you should play your guitar a little bit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when all 6 strings are tuned, it becomes a singularity.
Yeah.
Because you hit an E chord, you're hitting all 5 chords.
Yeah.
It becomes one note. So even though there's individual strings, or like there's my love life, my finances, and my health and stuff like that, it's a singularity.
Yeah.
So what you brought up earlier, like we're all talking about it differently. Tony Robbins, Jeff, you, I, but there's a singularity in everything. That's what we're looking for. So someone asked me, like, so what's perspective shift about? I says to point out the singularity in everything. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I don't care what you do for a living or what you do in life and whatever philosophy or what religion is. There's a singularity in that holds everything together. We're all connected. But yet my voice is different than yours, and I like that. But people are arguing over the voice. It's weird. Now that I understand what I know, it's weird to argue over the voice.
Right.
It's like saying it's arguing over food. Yeah, I'm like, Kayla can't eat bread.
Wheat,
wheat.
Carbs.
Someone else like, oh, you should be able to eat wheat. Now they have a debate on wheat. And
carbs.
I'm like, it's the most ridiculous thing. Who cares?
Yeah.
Because why are you eating carbs and why are you eating broccoli? The sustenance, the energy field in which it gets into the body and the body breaks it down and creates energy. Yeah. Who cares what it is you're eating if it's appropriate for your body? Who cares? But now people are arguing over this. This is weird.
Yeah.
People tell me, oh, they start talking about what kind of food they eat and diet. And, it's appropriate when, like, hey, I can eat bread, But when you start telling people, like, mine's better, I'm like, it isn't better. It's different. It's different. But the difference is what I find brilliant in this world.
That's right.
The singularity is what I'm always looking for in everything. Every book I read, every TV show I read, a song, every song that anyone's ever written. People's like, oh, he wrote that song, or she wrote that song for somebody. I'm like, no, she wrote it to herself. Yeah. She might have. He wrote it to himself.
Yeah.
Everything's a singularity.
A singularity. And it's like a guitar, man.
Yeah.
It is.
It's one.
When Frank told me that, man, it really clicked for me, because I realized I'm running around expecting my life to be good, right? And be better. But I'm not taking the time to get enough sleep. I'm not taking enough time to eat well. I'm not taking enough time for myself in the morning. I'm not taking enough time to be nice to others. Yeah. But yet I'm running around expecting my instrument to play in tune.
Yeah.
When all facets of my life are out of tune. And that's where I feel like 95% of people are. We're running around going, why the hell won't this work?
Right.
When we're all out of tune.
Boom.
We're just so out of tune. And we need to go in, and it's like little things,
And guess what? Knowing how to tune a guitar, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but when you hit a string,
I tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you hit a string and then you hit the next string, you hear So one string could
help you tune the other.
Help the other tune.
Correct.
So you become the string in which the frequency in which you want the life to live. You become the change.
I love that.
Don't worry about the other string. You'll put that string in tune. But everyone's always like, hey, your string's out of tune. And because of that, I'm out of tune. But stop waiting for someone. So if I'm the E string, I'm going to stay E all day long. And then the A, the D, the B, all the strings will actually equal up to it. And then after a while, we're all in tune. We all keep ourselves in tune. So if I got a tune, the A is going to get me back into tune. It's how it is.
Yeah.
So we become the change in which we want to see, not wait for other people. This is why we argue. We're like, if this person was just nice to me, I'm like, are you nice? Well, I would be nice if they were nice. I'm like, why don't you become nice and see what happens to them? Mm-hmm. That's the power we have in the quantum field, and we learn this in the entanglement. We are entangled. Mm-hmm. If we get into a discussion, we start getting angry. Why am I getting angry? Because I gave into the entanglement of anger, and all of a sudden, two people are angry.
Yeah.
But if I decide I'm stepping out of this thing, and all of a sudden, if I step out of, someone's yelling at me, and I stop being angry, and I actually hold my place, that person stops being angry.
I agree.
Because they have nothing to fight against.
They have nothing to fight against.
That's where we stay stuck. Yeah. Is we think there's this,
Well, everyone else is waiting for somebody else.
When
people
it's both.
People are like, oh, what do you think about the midterms? I'm like, I don't think about the midterms.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm changing my life now. I'm like, the world runs on individualism and collectivism together, not you waiting for one person to say the right thing, this right word, to make the right policy. I'm like, this is ridiculous. But if we all start individually, collectively level up, all of a sudden you'll start seeing people make the right decision, the right policy, and everything. You'll start to physically see it.
Yeah.
But right now, if you're a mess, how do you expect to see cleanliness? Mm-hmm. We have to become clean ourselves in our thought and hold it. The E-chord must hold the E-chord.
One thing I wanted to ask you about, Jeff, so earlier when we all started, we were kind of chatting and doing our thing before we went live, and you were mentioning you were working some gig over in the Scottsdale area, and you were talking about like the difference between like the nightlife and stuff.
Yes.
So somebody yourself who's a, very whole person, focus on this type of stuff. Explain a little bit about like what you kind of experienced there, because I grew up in Arizona, and so like I would see, these different experiences that you were mentioning, and before people would I remember growing up, people were like, oh yeah, you got to go out, you got to go to the club, you got to get, this is success, this is wealth, this is happiness,
you want to be known.
But like you grew up in Rwanda, where you did not have anything like that, and then for you to come here and see, the amount of just kind of like useless spending and just a totally different mindset and just like very money focused. Tell us a little bit about that.
First, it was my experience before going into to get that gig.
Yeah.
I'm working towards certain things in life, and I'm at a certain stage in my life where I have to work hard. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I have to grind. I have to also think about.
Me too, man.
Outside of after this, I'll jump back right into the Jeff that just always trying to find opportunities.
Yep.
That's the acceleration I talked about earlier. So the discomfort, is benefit to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's not like I have to, like, I'm going to be grinding till I'm 92.
Yeah, that's it.
With the day I die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just the gears are
different type of grind.
though.
Right.
Yeah.
But, and let me tell you, man, it's money. This material paper that really defines our energy, you know what I mean? Our how we create opportunities, and so I really wanted to know the truth. I wanted to know truth about money. Like I was craving the truth. I find the truth in being whole, in being self-aware, I find the truth in fitness and who I am and how I can better myself mentally and my body, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And my spirit to be high, but I haven't found the truth about money yet, and I was craving that truth. Mm-hmm. So an opportunity showed up to go dog sit.
Okay.
The little dog called Buddy.
Okay.
What was the dog's name?
Buddy.
Buddy?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That's my buddy,
Yeah.
And so I dog sit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I love it. I love taking care of. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was such a beautiful
connection with that animal.
With that animal, and I feel love that I was taking care of it. And so then another opportunity showed up. To go. Someone mentioned that I can go get a security job.
At the club.
At the club.
What club was it? Are you allowed to mention? Yeah,
we'll just say Scottsdale.
Scottsdale.
Right.
Old Town Scottsdale.
Yeah, Old Town Scottsdale.
Right,
there we go.
Old Town Scottsdale. So,
which for if people don't know, listening out there, that's kind of like a bougie party place. It's like we're very nightlife driven.
It gets crazy.
I just wanted to describe that for anybody who's a different state. Or
country. It gets crazy.
It does get crazy.
But I gotta, so I was feeling, I wanted to create an opportunity for myself, and I just parked there. I didn't even apply or anything. Mm-hmm. I just say, you know what, I'm going to see if I can get a job at a gig at the, at Old Towns,
yep.
At the bar, and I heard the bar that they mentioned, mm-hmm. They mentioned like, you should go here first. My plan was to go,
walk them all, because there's all sorts of bars. People bar hop all night.
That's right. So, but the first one, I walked in there, introduced myself, got the job right away.
Hell yeah.
But quick, that was quick. It was easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was easy, and
But that's. You created a situation where it became easy.
It became easy. I created that.
And the energy you went in there with, you know?
Yeah, and
that level.
Yeah. I felt it, and I felt that energy, man.
Mm-hmm. You were in the state in which you
I made good tips. I was able to, to pay a little, to pay my bills. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I'm just wondering, like, that's a whole different perspective than that of coaching. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so tell us a little bit about that. I mean, because this is late night, you know? Yeah. There's beautiful women running around. There's loud guys. There's lots of money. There's lots of drinking.
There's a lot of distraction, man.
Yeah, good. That's a good way to say it. A lot of distraction.
A lot of distraction, because Arizona has beautiful women.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
We're totally known for that.
See?
Yeah.
It's
ASU
easy.
And all that.
ASU.
Yep.
I married one of them.
There you go. There you go.
It's easy to fall into that. Mm-hmm. It's easy to just boom, focus on that, and I saw it at the club. I saw it at Old Town, and that was what was driving people.
People get sucked into this lifestyle.
Sucked into it.
Yep.
And so the pleasures of having women around that are dressed a certain way, having drinks, and it's just
and expensive drinks too. We're talking thousands for these tables and stuff.
We're talking thousands.
Yeah,
man. This is. I was like, okay, Jeff. All right, dude. Now you are at a place where you are around money, Jeff. Mm-hmm. Now you are around money. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now what you gonna do about that? Mm-hmm.
What opportunities can this create?
What opportunities can this create? I met such powerful people. I met entrepreneurs, and dude, I met the people that I met the people who are accomplished in our area, and I was like, dude, now this is it. You know what I mean? Like, you can have, if you continue this, you can have money to buy that you can get an investor to buy, to invest in that gym you always talked about.
Yep.
To be able to have more financial resources.
Absolutely.
So money got stuck in my mind now. Now it was.
Now you got a distraction.
Now I got a distraction. It was money. And.
Which, by the way, I fall victim to that mindset struggle all the time.
But also understand that becomes into certainty and uncertainty principle.
Well, it's like also the conditioning that we experience on everyday life.
Yeah. But I'm saying it's not necessarily bad, because like you come to an understanding is like money's going to come to you. So in other words, say money was the 1 and the spirit was the 0. Or the physical world is the 1, and this we have to remain some balance within those fields in order to have this experience.
Yeah,
because a lot of people like Buddha went the spiritual route, just went off into the desert, left everything, and then he realized like this sucks.
Yeah,
because he came from money, and then he came to an understanding of balance, and I think that's what it is. So don't feel bad for wanting money or to wanting to experience money. Right. Yeah, because we can get too caught up in that as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. See, that's it, but I was like, dang, man, it happened so fast. I got exposed to so much money at once.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You talking about.
That's the altitude.
Dude, got tipped $500, dude. Like,
oh my gosh.
There you go.
But you know what I mean? But like, it's a totally different vibration.
Yeah, but now you create another standard, another frequency that now at some level that's possible, and that's all you need to hold on to now.
Isn't that crazy? But so it just. But then I'm a busy guy. I'm a busy guy during the day. I coach, so I burn a lot of calories, and and then if I will go work at night, you know what I mean? Yeah. So you have to rest.
Yeah.
If you don't rest, like, you get caught up in things that.
Yeah.
The monkey mind.
You get caught up.
You burn the candle at both ends.
Yeah, you do. So yeah, now.
When I'm not rested, my mind is on overdrive.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is, but when I sleep, you know, I meditate, I got a good morning in me.
Yeah.
It's like I'm processing slower. I'm in a better brainwave.
That's it.
Where my brainwaves when I'm tired and exhausted, which is where majority of the world is, because you got to get up so early to get to the office. We're stuck in such a crappy frequency.
Yeah. Well, the reason you're tired is because your brain's working that fast. It's not that you didn't get sleep necessarily. Mm-hmm. So I forgot what the body mass. We talked about this earlier. The body mass of the brain is, it's argument's sake, say 5%. I'm not really sure, but it consumes 25% of your caloric intake.
Right. Because
of thinking. You can actually slow that down. So something at that low rate of body mass is consuming 25% of your caloric intake.
Is caloric mean our calories?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is not balanced.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if it's not proportional to the amount of calories it's consuming.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with that. Like, so if you say, argument's sake, your brain is 5% of your body weight, it should be only 5% of the caloric calorie output or intake.
Yep.
That's a balanced state. So when it's doing 25, why is that doing? Because we're thinking so much. So we're not tired.
Yeah.
Because I was working all day. Actually, when I was working, I wasn't tired. It was to drive home thinking about, oh shit.
Yeah.
I got this bill, then that, and then
we say, oh, I'm tired because I worked all day. I'm like, no, actually, it was when I started thinking about all the shit that I didn't do, I should have done, and blah 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 blah. It made me tired.
Yeah, and you know, Mike mentioned at the. You remember we talked about that at the gym where that guy. There's a guy who committed suicide. Was also a security guard.
Oh, really?
Oh, when?
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday.
Oh,
yeah. There's
you and Frank?
Not there, but in Old Town Scottsdale, one of the bars.
Oh, one of the security guards did.
One of the security guards committed suicide.
Really?
Yeah, man. This thing can really get to you. You have everything that's being portrayed in our society that. It's okay, you know. Like this is what you should strive for.
Yeah.
You should strive for, seeing, women around,
and money.
You should strive to be to have money around, to just hustle, and and drugs and everything. Alcohol and
that bottle service and table.
That bottle service. Oh, it's expensive. Or expensive,
That's what success is.
Yeah, that's what success is. And so there are also people that look at that, and want that, but they're not willing to look within themselves.
They want the distraction.
They want the distraction. So, and that distraction gets heavy. That it gets to a weight that you can't control, and the guy really commits suicide.
I was just gonna say, he sees all this glamour, all this stuff, and that's what I want. That's what success is. That's what I'm told all this is. Am I ever gonna have that? What if I don't want that? Does that mean there's something wrong with me? There's a million things running through all of our different heads, and suicide, as we all know, that's never an answer.
It's never an answer.
Well, what it is like, say he was doing this job continuously over and over and over. So that's 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. Suicide was 0.
Right.
It was a shift and change. That's what it did. He's no longer now. I am not in any way ever condoning it.
Of course not.
It's not what I'm talking about. But if he went 1 1 1 0 0 1 1 1 0 0, he would never be at the state of suicide. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you get to a point where it's like 1 1 0 0.
It's a whole code, isn't it?
It is a code.
That's what we're living.
Yeah,
we live in a code.
We are living a code.
But you then have to get to a place where you're witnessing it's a code, and that transcends the code.
Wow.
You transcend the code where it's like, okay, I can go do this, I can go do that, and just. But then you start to do things like, well, that doesn't really serve the direction which I'm going in, so it's no longer I have to do it. I can then choose the 1 or choose the 0 rather than being a slave to the 1s and the 0s.
Wow,
I'm actually choosing the code. I'm the programmer now.
I'm the sequencer of the program. You are the software
Sequencer.
You are the software engineer of your life.
Correct.
The 110 bro.
Yeah. The algorithm
right there.
So it's like the movie Matrix, right?
Exactly.
Nero was he was placated to. He was part of it, but then he was taught how to step out of it and become the code.
And why did we call him Neo? The neocortex.
The neocortex. Yes.
Yeah.
That movie was.
It's still
modeled.
Yeah.
It's still one of the best examples.
Bruce Lipton. I love when Bruce Lipton says that. He goes, "The movie Matrix wasn't just a movie. It was a documentary."
Yeah.
Like,
and he's right. Yeah. He's so right.
Yeah.
You know, you start to pick up on all that little stuff, and you realize, oh my gosh, I would have felt this way, but now I'm witnessing myself, and I'm going to take responsibility. I don't have to feel that way.
Yeah.
Before you thought you were your thoughts. Yeah, you thought you were your thoughts. You're like, wait, no, I got to feel like shit because I just checked my bank account and I don't have the amount of money I want. And I just checked my phone and, I don't have that girlfriend I want.
Yes.
So I can't be happy. These say I'm not allowed to. Wow. That is such a limited way to think,
And then the ones and zeros.
And then you say stuck.
Yeah, the ones and zeros repeat exactly based on the formulation in which you're talking.
Yes.
So all of a sudden, it's not that you didn't have that stuff. It's the continuous repetition, what we call the Groundhog's Day, that breaks us down.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, the body craves certainty and uncertainty at the equal vantage point. It's never fully equal, but over time it equals out.
Yeah.
And that's what we really want. But when you transcend that, you can actually control that and have this nice homeostasis life. You really can.
Wow.
But yet, I am not of the world, but I'm in the world.
Yeah.
But I'm actually the coder of my world.
Ooh, man.
Yeah.
That is it.
Karen's actually my coder. She sets my programming at night.
But when you are able to see the life in that state, you get to experience. It's like it just happens. You don't force it. It just happens. And I saw this. I woke up to this money at the club.
Yeah.
And I was like, I cannot have this that fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but that was me. That was my internal,
Yeah.
I didn't walk away from it,
mm-hmm.
No.
But
again, it's the acceleration. In other words, when I accelerate to go on the freeway, I have to get the car up to 4,000 RPMs. But if I maintain that, the pistons and my transmission is going to go.
Yeah.
So at some point, it has to level down. But you don't know this. You didn't slow the car down. The RPM slowed down. So I am now traveling at 65 miles an hour at 2,000 RPMs, where to get to there, I had to go to 4,000.
Whoa.
So remember, you're not dropping, you're maintaining, but you don't need as much energy to maintain.
Yeah.
That's the life we live.
That's it.
But when we go to another level, I'm going to have to pick my RPMs.
Yeah.
So if I go from 65 and want to go to 80, I have to put the RPMs back up.
Boom.
And then boom, drop them back down. But I don't go back down to 65.
And then you just realize that.
It's understanding the physics of the world in the physical world. Yes, and then the quantum physics is the spiritual world. So they don't separate. But
we're just taught that they're growing up, at least in the Western culture, that there's no quantum side. There's no spiritual side. We're taught that that's a bunch of woo-woo and hocus pocus, or you can have that on Sunday when you go to church.
We were taught they're separate.
Yeah.
And that's like when Einstein and all the quantum physics came. So before that was Newtonian physics. So you had Newton all the way up to like the late 1800s when his theories that were measured. So if I take this phone and I drop it, every time it's going to land at the same rate or whatever, depending how I do that, right? So that's classic physics.
Right.
That will never change. But there's something going on in the quantum that's energy. So they say, okay, let's separate this two. And Einstein's like, we can't. There's got to be a relationship. And then quantum physics came out. Now, quantum physics didn't just come out overnight.
Yeah.
The double slit experiment was in 1801.
See, that's crazy.
People are like, how'd they do that?
I didn't know it was 1801.
1801 by Thomas Young.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and all he did is a crack of light coming through the window, and he took a mirror and he put it to a double slit. So Newton's idea is light is a particle. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of particles. And he's like, well, I believe it can be particles. I could see that. Or it could be a wave. And he proved it was both. It can be both. It depends.
If there's observer. If you're observing
now,
for
on
particle,
the time,
you find
now,
particle.
You get on the sun time. In 1801, there was no cameras. There was no even a gun that shot out electrons.
Yeah.
So he had to use a crack in the window and he took a mirror and he put it through a board, and on the observation screen he saw a pattern-like thing, but he was standing behind it. If you're over here observing the light coming through, you actually change it to particle and it changes its form. So that's the double slit experiment. But that was done in 1801. So in 1900, when they started talking about this quantum theory, that was 100 years later. But yet the double slit experiment is something that actually verifies quantum physics. So it's been over a multitude of different physicists have culminated this. And even today, it's like I was talking to quantum physics, and this is years ago, but I'm sure it remains the same. If you think you know quantum physics, you don't know quantum physics.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
wow,
it.
right.
I've heard
It's
that.
almost like if you think you know God, you don't know God.
You don't know God.
You don't know God.
Well,
yeah.
people have said like quantum physics is so strange that in fact like you can't even fathom how strange it can get, because quantum is faster than the speed of light.
Yeah.
It is instantaneous.
Yeah.
And it exists.
Well,
And that's
when
crazy.
they do an entanglement thing, that's when Einstein said it was spooky science.
Yeah, because I mean,
spooky
if
action.
one particle, light years away,
Yeah.
and they're, speaking to each other, and
Well, yeah,
instantaneously
first
not
they were
changing.
entangled, and then you can put them light parts away. If this thing turns to the left, this will turn automatically to the right, and they're working in conjunction.
No matter how far.
It's like if I have a quarter and you got the heads here and I flip it, well, the tails goes the other way.
Because Einstein thought there was nothing faster than the speed of light.
That's right.
Quantum
Yeah.
is faster than the speed
Yeah,
of light.
within the physical world there really isn't, but you're beyond it. Yeah. So information's still the way we know.
But
it.
that's in the world of the world. We can live in this three-dimensional world,
Yeah.
or we still have this quantum way of the way we feel and experience.
Man, there's nothing that fascinates me than the 1800s creations.
Oh,
Yeah, I know, right? That's when they really started to come up with some cool stuff.
that now we use and
Yeah. Karen's chicken pesto fascinates me. It's
Her chicken pesto,
Yeah,
which is
amazing.
also conveniently from the 1800s, the recipe. Travel generations and generations.
right. 1800s creations, inventors.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting, because those people actually they didn't have a lot of resources, man.
No, but that's the key is they didn't have a lot of resources, but what were they? They were resourceful.
They were resourceful.
So anyone that has a lot of resources cannot become resourceful, and when you step out of the state of resourcefulness, you become lazy.
Yeah.
So that's why even like a lot of rich people, I'm like, okay, I have the money to start this new business,
Yeah.
and but I'm not going to use my money. I'm going to start this business. If this business isn't pulling in a certain percentage of GPA for the year, I'm going to fail. But you have enough money to back it. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's how the government runs. I'm like, if this can't make me money, I don't care how much money, I'm going to shut this business down.
Boom. Wow.
But run it like as if you have no money.
Yeah.
And this is how the purest way of living. You're going into the unknown. But if you're like, oh, yeah, I got millions of dollars, I can back it up. I'm like, this is how every rich person goes broke if they do it that way. I'm like, no.
that's true.
I'm like,
Wow.
start a business and have them separate. So everything is separate.
Yeah.
So all my business is separate. If this business isn't making money, I'm not going to take from Peter to give to Paul.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous. I have to, and that's how I want to live my life.
Yeah.
I want to live my life in that moment, in that thing. And I want to become resourceful. I don't need resources. Resources will show up. But if I have all the resources in the world, I become lazy. We see it in this country. We have all the resources in the world, and there's other people that don't, but they're very resourceful.
They are.
Like, if we went over to like a place in Africa right now, right, where they didn't have a lot of resources, I would die in a day. And these people live in the world. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with this dude? Like,
Why is this guy already done?
He crawled under a bush. What's going on?
You know what I think? You wouldn't die.
Well, I would have to learn and adapt to become resourceful in
Boom.
those environments.
Boom.
I would have to do it.
That's
Where
it.
the people are, like, you watch people, like, you hear about someone getting lost in the woods and they die after 2 days. I'm like, people thrived in the woods for
thrive.
millennia.
They come back as different human beings. That's why there's shows like Naked and Afraid or
Yeah.
Survivor or
I'm afraid to be naked.
Yep. No, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
you know what I mean though?
Yep.
Oh, now we can. People say you won't survive.
Yep.
No,
There's those places where they just drop you now.
They just drop
Yeah.
you. This is a perfect market then.
And this is not even
Going
the mafia
against
doing
it.
Yep. And what happens? People survive. But what does this all go back to? Their belief.
They believe.
If you know you're going to survive, you will survive every
That's
time.
it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well,
That's what we want to talk about.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I think a lot of people do this stuff. Like David Goggins, that guy cracks me up. So he's sitting on the dock with his hands and feet tied.
What?
Yeah. You know who David Goggins
is,
right?
Yeah, I do.
So he's sitting there like this with his hands and feet tied, and he's doing a little like 30, 40-second video, and he goes, I hate the goddamn water. But I wasn't going to let this ruin my Jeeps. And he jumps in the water, and he starts going like a dolphin.
What?
Yeah, because when you do that, you have no choice
but to survive.
Survive. You're actually, and when you have no choice, you do it. But when you pander, I'm going to go back. But when you're dropped in the middle of the ocean, you better focus on that shoreline, baby.
Yep.
You got to go. You have no choice. And when you have no choice,
you
then transcend. Just
transcend.
like the tightrope on that, what was it called?
The walk.
The walk. He
Watch
had to transcend. He couldn't. Yeah, there was no. I remember.
Yeah, there's no going back when you're between two buildings.
The first,
you go forward or you die.
The first step, he probably was like, I could go back.
Yeah.
Second step, third step, not so much.
Yep.
Yeah. Now you're in the middle.
Yeah.
It's just as easy to go this way than it's that way.
Exactly.
So when you're dropped off in the middle, just keep going.
Just keep going.
Just keep going. And that's what keeps us alive.
See, I love
but
that.
you have to set the mind before stepping into it. So obviously David Goggins got into the mindset before he tied his hands and feet together and jumped in the water and started swimming like a dolphin. It's like, damn.
He's like, oh, okay, this is how dolphins swim.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me put
the
this.
guy, he's an ex-Navy SEAL, so they had to swim like that.
So, yeah.
And I'm like, damn. I'm like, that really makes your mind say, you got to do this.
You got to do it.
Because drowning is not an option.
There's no way. And people have that fear of drowning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then they live in the desert.
And they live in the desert, but we have Navy SEALs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, speaking of SEALs, I heard this story one time. I'll just mention it. But I heard there was an exercise that they did where they purposely dropped them into a moving stream. And the purpose of this is for them to understand they cannot swim upstream or swim out. They have to let go, and they have to float with the stream downstream. And I thought that was such a great metaphor for what we all have to do in life.
That's it.
Yeah.
We're all fighting against trying to go upstream, saying, this should be different. No, I pictured this different in my head. No, we need to do it like this. When as if you were to just let go and stop saying this needs to be a certain way, you're now floating with the stream.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting that our instincts somehow turned in on us? Because the true instinct would be to just go with the river. That would be the natural and pure instinct. But most people don't. They try to swim against the current, and that's when they drown.
And that's what the SEALs were trying to teach.
Yeah. Well, you have to, because you have to, what it is
it's good luck.
It's the mind that's fighting you, and then the mind saying, you better swim.
Well, they dropped off 5 guys, and I think 3 got back, made it down. Like, they were like, great, you guys, you won the thing. You let go, and you just floated. Where, like, there was 2 who were, like, left fighting like they were supposed to get somewhere else. And it was like, no, that wasn't the purpose of this technique and training.
Yeah. You're not going to beat the river.
Correct.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're going to tire yourself out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is pretty badass.
Yes.
You know, you kind of get all that. But,
yeah.
Jeff, we learned some awesome stuff again with you on
definitely, man.
today's episode.
It is always a pleasure.
Oh, well, we will have you back, sir. You will absolutely be back. We can't wait to hear what's next. Tell us a little bit about, like, what's next for the football stuff. Like, what does that team go on? Will you get to see those kids anymore? Or are they kind of going to move to that next level and you'll get a new group of guys? Like, what's kind of next for you?
I want to grow with these boys.
Nice.
There you go.
I want to build this team. So after the football season, we're gonna go into off-season training. Allow them to give them like a month or a couple weeks off.
Give them 2 days, just 2 days. It's fine.
Right? But they only 7.
Give these poor 7-year-olds more than 2 days.
Right. They need a little break, right?
Yep.
So
That's
then
not
we're gonna go
into
to a simple off-season training.
Nice.
Some speed and agility, and and kind of start recruiting, and because we had a small team. We had a small team this season because it's our first season. It's our first time in the game. It's our first time in the arena, and we grew. As coaches, we grow. As kids, we grow.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a whole growth for all of us. Everybody wins because at the end of the day, we grow. We grow from our wins. We grow from our losses. So we will train and recruit some kids and continue to carry on the positive message that we gained.
Is this a specific league that, like, listeners at home, if they got kids and they want to put their son or daughter in
it's
league?
a specific league.
Is it called, like, I played soccer. I remember I had AYSO. Like, what's this called that you work with, this organization?
Pop Warner.
Pop Warner. Okay, so
that's a popular one. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was the Pop Warner was.
The Pop Warner leagues. 7U. 7-year-olds.
Okay.
Pop Warner. Our little team is called Vikings.
What's a way for
Vikings,
people to look up your content? I know we went over this last time, but why don't we plug you again as far as, like, where are you posting? Are you on Instagram? Are you on Facebook?
I post a lot on Instagram, and my Instagram is JTS Fitness.
JTS Fitness.
Dash Training.
Dash Training, okay.
That's
and we'll put that up on the screen below.
Yes. Yeah. I post a lot on there because, you have a choice to watch it and learn from it, or you just just go. If you're interested, go watch it. I really, the kids have a great time, and if you're a parent, that wants your kid to be part of the team and part of the community to grow together, we can do that. I think every kid needs a leader. Needs positive leaders in their lives.
Absolutely.
I'm a strong believer in that, especially if a kid does not has a single parent, you know what I mean? And they have to grow with good leadership, so you can go check it out and he, message me.
Well, that's what's cool. I was going to say, people have friends and family at home are like, dude, this would be perfect for my cousin or my nephew.
Yeah.
And they want to reach out. Yeah. Like, this kind of gives them a way to kind of...
Even for advice, too,
Or separate coaching, not even related to football. Just agility.
Just a sport, agility and...
fitness training in general.
Fitness training in general. Or even if you want an advice from me,
Absolutely.
you don't have to...
obviously you have very good outlook on life.
Absolutely.
I have to, that's how you have to live your life, to just have a positive mindset, and you will face some negativity, but have a positive mindset.
That's part of it.
How do you overcome that?
That's
the journey.
That's every medal that was won was overcoming something. It wasn't because they just showed up, It was like, hey, look what I overcome.
Yeah, it's about overcoming.
Yeah.
See, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. The shepherd is overcome.
I was gonna say it was honestly an honor having you back, Jeff.
It's an honor to be back. We talked a lot about important things, and I think
we did.
And after this, I feel healed, man. I feel
it's mutual. I know exactly what you mean.
You know what I mean?
I live here feeling better every day.
Yeah, I feel relief. Now I have a different outlook.
Yeah, it gets us to a whole nother level. Because the cool thing is, like, this is all intellectual, but then we're going to go out and enact it.
Yeah.
Because once I watch someone play the guitar and I enact it, now I become that.
And that's it. Right. Our vibration, we're raising each other's vibration right now.
That's right.
And then we go out into that world and we help raise others' vibration.
Yeah, and then we do it on the physical plane. We maintain that and then extend beyond that.
Yeah. And guys, we did great. We done good. We done good, man. And
that's it.
We should be very proud of ourselves.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You should be very proud of yourself. Yeah. And every day you look at yourself in the mirror. Just tell yourself, I'm proud of you, and go out there and just conquer.
Louise Hay, we just did her a couple weeks ago. She says, when you get up in the morning, the first thing you do when you look in the mirror is tell yourself, I love you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I just make sure the lights aren't on.
Love.
Flip the lights on. And that's, bringing it back to where we started. Yeah. That's what we are. Mm-hmm. And so when you can appreciate everything in that being, then we elevate even further.
Boom.
Everything takes it from there. All right, man. Well, hey, we'll definitely have you on again.
Jeff, can't wait to have you back.
Awesome.
Yeah, this was awesome. And take a look at Jeff's stuff, guys. We'll put his contact information below on the bar, but go ahead and give him a follow. Thank you all for coming in and listening today. Jeff, you were awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and make sure if you hear something good, like, don't be afraid to share it. You know?
We love the comments.
Yeah, we love the comments. Like you're allowed to tap into our conversations. We're very responsible. We're very responsive.
Yeah, well, actually, that shows we're all connected here.
Yeah,
and that's it. We're trying to grow the expansion in the individual, but in the tribe at the same time.
Yeah. And every person at home, they deserve to feel good.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Remember
Definitely,
that.
yeah.
You know, you deserve this feeling, and the only thing stopping you is between your two ears. It's your head.
Yeah.
So let's get out of that and let's get into life.
Do it. All right.
Thanks,
hey,
Jeff.
If you like what you saw today, just click the subscribe button down below. It keeps us going.
Yep.
And if you have any comments or questions, perspective shift at 2020 at gmail.com, and we'll respond back. All right. Hope you guys have a great day, and peace out.
Thanks for listening, guys.
All right.